Hello and welcome to Arctic Refuge. This is Supreme Commander Forged Alliance on Forged Alliance Forever, the greatest RTS that you'll ever see, that we'll likely ever see in our lifetime. In this one, we have Commander Adama going Aeon, taking on Isen, who is significantly higher ranking. He's a top 10 player. Commander Adama somewhere, probably top 200 or something along those lines. Really have no idea. And something crazy going on here. Isen neglecting mass extractors, counting a little too much on those trees. I think that is very dangerous. Some maps you can pull it off. I don't think this is one. Although these trees aren't quite nice for mass and power. See Adama here. He's going to move his ACU to grab a couple mass extractors before he goes into the whole PGen spam. 7 PGen second air. Interesting. The one thing I like about this map, there's a lot of different build orders that are possible, put you in different situations. And second air is actually quite aggressive in terms of air. Usually it's something like third air. And yeah, Isen thinking better of it. He is going to go ahead and grab a couple of mass extractors. So 3 PGens, 2 mass extractors, and that will prevent him from stalling. Looks like 2 expanding engineers, and the way these bases are aligned, there's basically 2 or 3 directions to expand, one to the middle and one to the bottom and to the side. See, there is a bit of what's it called, a symmetry to this fourfold symmetry. You can see how these mass extractors are like that. It's a famous shape, but something to keep in mind. Somebody did point that out in the comments. And second air still from Isen. Isen going with the air factory on 3 PGens. What is he doing? He's now power stalling, and that's because he got so much power from those trees. So he's really messing around with these build orders. Let's see how that works out for him. One thing that he does not want to do is run into this sieve. And Isen loses a scout. And there are multiple scouts going to the top 4. Commander Adama. Actually, 4 scouts all over the place. An Aurora for defense and 3 expanding engineers. This hunter is going to look for this expanding engineer. And actually, taking out expanding engineers is huge, especially the one going to the bottom, because it's 3 mass extractors versus 2. And the fact that you only start with 4 mass extractors, these expansions are actually a significant portion of your mass income. And here, gestures. Oh, this is interesting. Isen going with gestures, very early gestures. And the fact that Adama is going with second air is going to really help him out. And he did go with 7 PGens, so now he's going to have a lot of power, which will... And power is critical on this map, because once you go to the middle, and usually players go to the middle, there's a lot of reclaim, so you want to have that extra power to get that reclaim. Looks like this engineer is coming back. Yeah, there is also a few rocks here. Those do help. And this scouting has been great for Adama. He knows exactly where the attack is coming. And up on top, this Aurora has already defended against the hunter. And you can see in terms of expansion, an advantage for Adama, and that has turned into a significant mass advantage. In terms of the economy, we got to say Adama is way ahead now. And a bomber and a scout. So very aggressive air, and this gesture is being hidden. So Isen not wanting to reveal the fact that he went air. And he's collecting gestures. Maybe he's thinking about a snipe. So the usual thing that happens on this map is the 2 ACUs go to the middle. And if the other player neglects air, those gestures can be used to take out the enemy ACU. Looks like this hunter avoiding, getting a kill as well. Didn't get this engineer, get some other kill. Perhaps that was a scout. Let's see if this Aurora can do something to terrain, preventing any attacks. Isen runs into the civilians again. He's just not friends with them today. Meanwhile, we see some artillery for Adama, and it's actually good to work in some artillery into your build order from your factory. And very important, successful kill on an engineer. This will prevent any more expansion. Great placement on a scout here from Adama. He'll know exactly. So one thing we're seeing about Adama, and one thing that he does, is that he's played this map so many times. He's playing very well. You can see he knows exactly what the important aspects are. And these Auroras really need to attack. They need to kill this engineer. Interesting, Mantis helping out. The two Auroras versus a Mantis. So far everything has gone in Adama's favor, except that Isen got to the middle a little faster, which means he'll get a little more reclaim. And here come the gestures. Meanwhile, this bomber looks like he's going after mass extractors. Takes 3 bombs, and actually it looks this will be the third. Takes out a mass extractor. I think killing engineers and power would be a little better. The gestures are now going to try to prevent Adama from grabbing this expansion, and they will kill Auroras very quickly. So we should anticipate interceptor spam from Adama. And Adama looks like he forgot. While he was doing all these great things, he forgot to get some engineers to make power, and that's going to be huge. He's significantly behind on power, which will allow Isen to have air control, although Isen spent so much power on these gestures that he hasn't made enough interceptors. And now this bomber, yeah, you can see why Adama forgot to make power. He's been busy with his bomber. This bomber's perhaps been the best unit, but these gestures, extremely dangerous. And Isen, actually there was a third gesture here. You can see the engineers have been killed. This engineer not killed. Big mistake from Isen. And as we're talking, you can see Adama has also made it to the middle. He needs to get to these 2 power generators and not allow Isen to grab them. Isen so far has been getting all of the reclaim. Multiple interceptors for Isen coming in, and these gestures need to be killed as soon as possible. Already 2 gestures dead. Looks like the third will die as well. Adama will chase Isen away. Isen, because he was fighting the civs, and the point defense is much lower in health, is not going to take the risk. He will retreat against the superior ACU, and Adama will get a huge bonus. And actually, looks like Adama has caught up on power. Meanwhile, up on top, it does appear that Isen will have control. He's got a very important Mantis, will deny engineers and a couple of mass extractors. And also a Mantis here that will try to prevent this engineer from expanding. Aurora's on the case. And 1 gesture survives. It's already on 6 skills with a nice air cover. So it will be up to Adama to get air back. You can see Adama actually wasting mass here. He needs to produce a lot more power. See a lot of engineers on power spam for both players. And actually, it does appear that it's a lot of engineers on factory spam. And this is huge. So much power is going into this power spam. So Adama is going to have a good economy, but he is losing the top to this gesture. And it does appear that Isen is not going to challenge the middle. And that's huge because there's still so much reclaim left in the middle for Adama to grab, who's already at 2,300. Isen 1,800, so not that far behind. Isen did get a little bit of that early reclaim, but still a lot left for Adama. And Adama needs to start making flak or interceptors, because this single gesture is going to continue to get kills unabated. Successful assault, and missed opportunity for Isen. He could have came in, killed this engineer before he finished this factory, but now this will be a very difficult place for Isen to take. Even if this gesture comes, a 10 kill gesture, more to come. Given this factory with a lot of health, can start making flak and will deny the gesture. Looking at Adama's play, he has very good power. He has which should turn into a big interceptor spam. He's got a total of 4 engineers and an air factory, so that's double an air factory build capacity on interceptors. This is a lot more than actually double what Isen has, which will allow Adama to eventually have a superior air force. And 2 different groups of Auroras are being created, plus some little bit of flak, as Adama continues to get mass in the middle, plus a stationary anti-air. Stationary anti-air in the middle is great, because whenever you have air fights, just go to the middle and have that right over your anti-air. As the Auroras are going to challenge the top, what will likely happen is Isen will hold on to this top expansion. And Isen getting a factory here on this bottom right expansion. but there's 2 factories for Adama. So with the even play and even micro, Adama should grab the right expansion, while Isen will grab the top left expansion. In the middle looks like will belong to Adama, and something big has happened. Tech 2 land, not surprisingly. Also Tech 2 engineering for Isen. Isen now pulling away in terms of production of mass. He's got 3 Tech 2 mass extractors. Do we have Tech 2 mass extractors for Adama yet? Amazingly, it's only 1. But Adama still has a little bit of reclaim left. But because of all that upgrading that Isen has done, he is significantly ahead in terms of mass production. And this is where the numbers, the just sheer numbers of tanks for Adama should allow him to poke holes in this defense. This map is really difficult to defend because you can go around any strong defenses like this position with a point defense and deny quite a few mass extractors here in the back. These 5 mass extractors are always very vulnerable. And we'll see how these rhinos do against Auroras. Auroras can outrange them, so it will take a little bit of micro from the rhinos. And what Auroras do not want to do is rush the rhinos, although these numbers are so big that the rhinos are going to die. And now things are not looking that good for Isen. On the bottom we do see some Tech 2 moving to this expansion, so Isen will try to challenge. The middle is completely taken over by Adama. And on top, Isen needs to get a factory or something going because there is a big force rolling through. And another Rhino. So Rhinos versus Aurora. So far, numbers for Auroras have been winning. And also Hoplites. The Hoplite, the worst unit to face if you're Aeon. The worst Tech 2 unit. Just a huge range, big splash. And I did make the prediction that this should belong to Adama, but this is no longer obvious. I think Isen actually has a superior force. So Isen might have these 2 side expansions, but will lose the mass extractors in the back. And the middle is going to belong to Adama. And actually this can turn into something very ugly for Adama. Isen with his Tech 2 can deny these 2 factories and roll through and hit Adama from the back. Multiple air factories now for Adama. Adama is in position to go Tech 2 air if he chooses to. Adama is still ahead in terms of power. And in terms of air control, it definitely has way more interceptors. So he needs to use that. Otherwise, you can see Hoplite, 7 kills. This Rhino, 8 kills. And also Tech 2 flak. This is a very balanced force here. The Hoplite has died. 11 kills on this Rhino. I think this Rhino might actually survive. Yep. A single Rhino is going to dominate. And up on the other side, multiple point defenses for Isen. He'll probably... Yeah, you can see the very scattered forces for Adama, denying many mass extractors and a Jester. This has got to be the original Jester. 18 kills, nearly out of fuel. Such a deadly unit. A Rhino and a Jester are going to take care of those Auroras. This is also another Tech 2 force. So Isen, multiple Tech 2 forces on the field, and this is a dangerous force as well. This is why I like this map, because there's so many little battles that can happen in so many different places. It looks like this Jester, after 22 kills, will eventually die. Interceptors for Adama are going to fight directly over Isen's base, and that could be dangerous because Isen can make Tech 2 flak here very quickly. And actually this Jester survives. And this is a lot of Tech 1 bombers. Wow. Huge Tech 1 bomber force taking out the Tech 2. And on the right side, it appears that that Tech 2 force finally was whittled down and taken out. So Adama will hold on to the right side, and his Tech 1 bombers are now decimating the other Tech 2 force. Great use of Tech 1 bombers. Ooh, and huge. This is going to be ghettos. This is a lot of flares and ghetto production from Adama. So Tech 1 gunships. Let's see how well that works. Definitely don't want to fly those over any Tech 2 flak. It just becomes a tragic situation. And it does appear it's going to be air domination and 2 ghettos. Oh, and one of those gets taken out. I think Adama should have first cleared air and then showed his ghettos. It really sucks to lose those. And I think he's going to lose the other one as well. As Adama retreats from the middle, he left a bunch of Tech 1 engineers with Tech 1 point defenses and a big force rolling through. Do not want to neglect his factories. He needs to kill all this while he can. Although he is going on an assault to the top as Isen is losing map control. But Eisen's still doing quite well on mass production because of all the Tech 2 mass extractors that he has. He has a total of 4 in his main base, plus quite a bit of reclaim left over. And now these Tech 1 bombers, I'm not sure if they're given specific orders or not. They're bombing the ACU. That's not a good target. And now there's Tech 1 flak that will take care of the situation. An assault from Isen on the left side. And this is unexcusable for Adama. He sent all of his units to the top, and his engineers are going to get killed by a couple Manta that should not be alive. Tech 1 bombers versus flak. Not the best thing to do. I think these bombers, if they would secure this area, you could see that it would be map control for Adama, and with map control and okay, wow, this is a whole bunch of flares that are still being produced. I think this is a mistake. Flares are still being produced. The ghettos are no longer assembled. It's just a big flare spam. And so late in the game, 15 minutes. I don't know if that's what Commander Adama wants to do. His forces look huge, though. They're very weak units. And actually multiple assaults in different positions. With a bunch of engineer killing Manti running around, denying this expansion. And what these forces need to do, besides just being aggressive, they need to actually do real damage. Otherwise, they just turn into wrecks. So taking out this power or Tech 2 mass extractors would be really good. But of course, they don't have all the time in the world because there is Tech 2 land production with the Rhinos, and the Rhinos will eventually take out this force, and actually probably 2-3 more Rhinos will deny this whole assault. On the other side, we're seeing multiple Rhinos. This is actually a single Rhino. Will kill a whole bunch of Auroras. And what we're seeing here, Tech 2 versus Tech 1, with Auroras making it quite even, but eventually they just can't compete. And once again, Isen allowing Adama to run past him. Adama not being very thorough, and perhaps that's because he doesn't have very good radar coverage, although here he does. This is a place you probably want to get a radar if you're Adama. And I think that was that Jester finally. That was 20-something kills. Is destroyed. Adama running into the unknown with his ACU. This is always dangerous, especially against Cybern, who have the capacity to produce suicide bombs, which can take your ACU down to nothing in a hurry. It's a bit dangerous. But Adama's still not producing as much mass as Isen. Isen more Tech 1 point defense, and this is flares. Flares and Auroras. Tech 1 point defenses are such a deadly counter to these that Adama just needs to walk away. These are good forces to attack a whole bunch of loose units. And actually this 16 kill Rhino from Isen, running everything over, and finally the engineering will be denied by Adama. And now the forces for Isen are actually quite thin. There's a couple Tech 2 tanks running around in different places. But the numbers are definitely in Adama's favor. And once he grabs this expansion here, he should have mass production advantage. It's only a difference of 4, so 2 Tech 1 mass extractors, plus a lot of reclaim still available. 3 Tech 1 transports. It looks like more ghettos could be on the way, but this is so late, and given that Isen has Tech 2 land for so long, I think ghettos are just way too dangerous. I mean, if those fly over this force, you're going to lose all your ghettos in one pass. And this is good now. The flares are just going to go past. They'll use their speed. They'll be annoying behind Eisen's base. As we can see now, the economies are dead even. One thing that's a bit disappointing about Adama's eco is that he's got so much mass in the bank. He has stopped producing power for the last 8 minutes or so, and that's something you never want to do. And because of that, he's not actually able to produce any more tech to mass extractors. And he hasn't gone tech to air or tech to land, which is also disappointing. He's been making ghettos. So even though he's getting good map control, it is very dangerous the way he's playing. And now he's actually power stalling, which is inexcusable. And now with Isen having tech 2 engineers, once he gets tech to power, he will have a significant advantage, although it doesn't look like he's producing that yet. He's just producing tech 1. But a lot of reclaim available for Isen from all those assaults. That's one thing I wanted to check. 8,500 for Adama in terms of reclaim. Isen on, what is that? 6,400. So 2,000 difference. The rhinos and hoplites are running in. One thing about Isen, of course, he always mixes up his units. Very diverse assault forces. Not really sure if he wants to be leading with that hoplite. Hoplite, a very quick unit, will be the unit he'll want to use against that point defense. Definitely not the rhino, and he does not want to run in head first with that hoplite. Yeah, poor micro. Yeah, the hoplite needs to survive, and barely survives, and now needs to take out that point defense. And yet another assault with total air domination by Adama. This is where tech to air is the most obvious choice. Getting some tech to gunships, getting tech to power, and with tech to gunships on this map, you'd have total domination. The thing about tech to gunships, you can really avoid tech to flak, just outrun them as long as you pay attention. Very good point defense. Point defenses in these positions are always a good idea. These rhinos are gonna walk away, with more rhinos building up. Tech 3 land. Loyalists on the field. Isen with his loyalists, he makes them extremely deadly. And I expect these loyalists to do very well. Though this is big numbers for the Auroras. Do you imagine this loyalist will be microed? See, that's exactly the unit that Isen is controlling now. He's trying to dodge all the shots from the Auroras. And some bombers coming in to try to kill the loyalists. And another loyalist come in. Actually, the first one died, but another one will come in. And then huge amounts of reclaim. I think you can say that Adama is in the winning position here. He's just not producing high-tech units. He's still sitting at Tech 1 here, minute 21. And that's the thing that's preventing him from finishing the game. Because now, at Tech 3, Isen can create a lot of problems. He can start grabbing the map back. Although now, big assaults, big aerial assaults. And what are these going to attack? Not really clear what those are doing. I think they're going after tech to mass characters. With these many bombers, Adama could take out all the power that Isen has. He's actually past Adama on power now. And that would go a long ways toward winning him the game. Adama now tech to land. Still no tech to air, but tech to land is going to get an engineer. And some obsidians. I expect obsidians versus loyalists. And a big air assault coming in. There is some flak here. And when you have Tech 1 bombers in these positions, the most obvious targets are engineers. What the heck? A bit disappointing assault. That's going to be a lot of kills for this entire. Engineers and power, that's what you want to hit. Even tech to power can be taken out by Tech 1 bombers when you got that many. Tech 2 engineers and cruise missiles might come into play here, especially between these two bases. If yeah, Isen will defend against this Tech 1 assault. And Adama here might be making a fatal mistake of not upgrading. He's very late on the upgrades. He's actually got a bunch of engineers moving to the middle. And he's got Tech 2. This is an expanding factory. He's going to make obsidians in the middle, which should give him some time to defend against these loyalists. These loyalists are now on the loose in the middle. are going to be creating all kinds of problems. These Manti need to just walk around. This Isen still loves to run into point defenses for no reason. And the battle for this expansion continues to rage on. So much reclaim available. And here a couple flares and a point defense by a Tech 2 engineer. A lost opportunity for Adama. As a couple of these loyalists make it all the way to Adama's base. Adama still not producing more mass than Isen because he hasn't upgraded. But Adama making a lot of obsidians with Tech 1 bombers countering the loyalists. That's one thing that Adama's had on the entire game was air control, and he has actually just given it away by bombing nothing. And he really gave up a lot. This 11 kills. And I think that could be significant. Now Isen might put a little more build capacity on his air. Isen's sitting on a whole bunch of available reclaim. Adama 1100, 11,000. Isen actually now surpassing by about 1,000. And Obsidians versus Loyalists. And Obsidian is actually in close range with these numbers. Will take on Loyalists quite easily. But we got to keep an eye on this force. 3 Loyalists. And now Tech 2 point defense is in the middle. This is a very solid position for Adama, although he probably wants to get some TMD in this position. I do expect Isen to think about cruise missiles. I'm not really sure if he'll make them. And finally, some more Tech 2 mass extractors. There's now 3 Tech 2 mass extractors for Adama. However, he's still behind, significantly behind. Obsidians getting killed by Tech 1 point defenses and Loyalists. That is a bit sad. So quite sloppy here at Tech 2 for Adama. And now Loyalists are going to run in and put Adama's power production in danger. Although a nice Tech 1 point defense. And a lot of bombers, although Tech 1 flak. So Tech 1 bombers versus Loyalists. That is what we're seeing. And so far, I think the Tech 1 bombers are doing quite well. And a mistake from Isen. He ran all of that Tech 1 flak into the point defense. I think if he would have kept all the flak over here, it would have done a lot of damage. Interceptors for Isen coming in. Obsidians. This is a significant Obsidian force still knocking on Isen's door. You see a bunch of dead Loyalists. And here these Obsidians can take out a lot of the power. A spider bot, I think that's a joke. I'm not really sure if Isen can do that given his eco. Perhaps just to scare Adama. And it does appear that Tech 1 bombers have taken care of the problem for Adama against Isen. Some very strange things going on. This is not what you usually see. But let's see how well Tech 2 land does. These Obsidians need to get close to the Loyalists. That's what they're going to do. And the Loyalists need to retreat to their Tech 1 point defense. And actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Isen switches to bricks, because bricks do much better against Obsidians with that much longer range. See, these in numbers, it's just not too much of a chance. More Tech 1 point defenses, and a lot of power was lost here by Isen, although Isen's still doing quite well. He must have Tech 2 power somewhere. I'm actually not seeing it, but I believe it's somewhere. And this is a lot of flak in Tech 1, so this force is actually not that strong. And finally, it looks like this expansion has been secured by Adama. Though there is a nice looking force from Isen. Although it's only one Rhino. So what are the ideas from these two players? We're seeing that Adama wants to stay at low tech. He's been putting pressure on Isen this entire game. Isen has gone to Tech 3, but not really able to compete. The Loyalist not able to compete with numbers of Obsidians, although now it appears that he has repelled this force, and perhaps a counterattack is coming. Now this Tech 1 force, a couple Tech 2s could be interesting, moving directly at Adama's base. Adama's still producing a lot of Tech 1 bombers. That's what he's used to defend his main base, but this time there's a lot of flak. and Tech 1 Assault coming in on the right side. So what we are seeing is that units don't become obsolete in this. Tech 1 units still used after 27 minutes in a mix with all the others. It just makes it that there's a lot of different positions from which you can assault. But this is just cannon fodder for the Loyalists. They'll take care of the Auroras, and it does appear that Isen is planning to take the bottom expansion, which will give him map control. He's already producing significantly more mass. He's ahead on power. He's got good tech. And I think the chance to win this game for Adama is slipping away. And that's really because he neglected teching, and he neglected tech to air. He had really big windows. And now this point defense actually doing quite well. The Loyalists dies, but more Loyalists coming in. Medusas, the lack of Medusas from Isen, I think a bit disappointing. See if this second point defense is complete. Take a little bit of micro from Isen to take care of these units. And yeah, the second point defense is complete. Yeah, and the Loyalists will take care of the first point defense. They will take some losses, but not much hope here for Adama. Meanwhile, the big fight, Obsidians versus Tech 1. Obsidians getting some kills, and yet another huge Tech 1 bomber arrowing, going after a single Loyalist. And Isen, one thing that he has neglected, I think he could have put quite a few more engineers on the power spam, and he's actually going for that spider. That could be a huge mistake. All that mass that he's putting into the spider, if it was put into bricks, would make this game nearly impossible for Adama. Instead, he's going, I guess, for style. But this means there's still a lot of time for Adama to do damage. And the fact that neither player used cruise missiles is a bit disturbing, as the Loyalists will take over this whole entire area, and engineers standing by need to grab all those mass extractors for Isen. Tech 1 point defenses going up for Adama, anticipating the Tech 3 assault. There's actually a Tech 2 mass extractor here that will die. And now an assault from Adama. Let's see what this looks like. This is 14 Obsidians, and that is not a force you want to take lightly. Plus, Adama not neglecting Tech 1 artillery, and Tech 1 artillery makes Tech 1 point defenses disappear, especially if it's Aeon. Isen will abandon his expansion, so this is a good Tech 1, Tech 2 force from Adama. A lot of Tech 1 point defenses, well countered. And once these Loyalists get close to all these Obsidians, and Obsidians with all that health, tanking all the damage, I think that's the last point defense, and a big victory for Adama. Meanwhile, the Loyalists running into point defenses. And one thing we've seen a lot from Isen, he runs into point defenses a lot. Maybe that's because he's so aggressive. But actually, there's still a Tech 1 point defense left. Adama needs to keep on pushing and take the whole place out. I mean, no reason to just leave all this. I think he's going to come back to his senses and do that. This is a fairly secure area for Adama. Meanwhile, these Loyalists, 26 kills, 14 kills, running amok inside Adama's base. And Isen here looks like he's going to try to put up a fight. Maybe a couple overcharges. He's really got to do a lot of dodging against all the Tech 1 artillery. He does have some Loyalists in support. And really what needs to be taken out is that a factory and this Tech 1 point defense. If you're Adama, Loyalist 6 kills. And it appears that a couple of Obsidians have come out and taken care of Loyalists. So what we've seen is that at the Tech 1 stage, Aeon can compete with Tech 2 Cybern, and that the Tech 3 stage for Cybern, Aeon can compete with their Tech 2 units. And here, Isen might be thinking he should have retreated a bit earlier. There is Loyalists in support, which is going to die very quickly. And the Obsidians are now chasing Isen. And actually, Yeah, a lot of tech too are gonna surround. Isen is gonna die. Oh wow, so not safe play for Isen. And I think that was given away by Isen there at the end. And this is the mistake. If Isen would have survived with his ACU, completed the spider, this game would be over. But Adama steals a victory from a much better player on average. Big victory for Adama, big victory for Aeon. Hopefully people enjoy this.